Most Pokemon learn a decent variety of good moves, but said moves don't always work well together. Sometimes their mechanics clash with each other, and sometimes they're redundant. So what's up fellas, I'm Matt, and today Elias and I are going to talk about move combinations you should avoid. Alright, let's get started.
What's up, I'm Elias, and many grass-type Pokemon can learn some sort of sleep move. There's Sleep Powder, Grass Whistle, Spore, Hypnosis, and so on and so on. But quite a few Pokemon with these moves can also learn Worry Seed, which doesn't work well if you want to put your opponents to sleep.
There are many ways to change abilities, but there are two moves that give the target one specific ability. Simple Beam makes their ability simple, who would have thunk, and Worry Seed makes it Insomnia. That blocks them from falling asleep, so you're effectively disabling your own sleep move. If you use something like Spore on an Insomnia Pokemon, the move will fail.
You also can't use the sleep move first, followed by Worry Seed. Whenever a sleeping Pokemon is given Insomnia, they wake up right away. If they had any sleep turns left, they're wiped out and you can't put them back to bed. Several Pokemon learn Worry Seed, as well as some sleep move by level up, like Venusaur, Breloom, and Exeggutor. So if you're using a Pokemon like that during a playthrough, you should skip one move or the other. And by that, we mean you should just pick the sleep move.
Thunder and Hurricane are strong attacks, and they have a 30% chance to inflict a status, Paralysis and Confusion respectively. To balance the moves out though, they're only 70% accurate. That makes them unreliable in most cases, so most Pokemon stick with weaker and more accurate options, like Thunderbolt and Yeah, the special flying type moves aren't great, but that's besides the point.
Rain teams frequently take advantage of the less accurate moves though, because Thunder and Hurricane never miss if it's raining. But if your Pokemon knows one of these moves, you shouldn't teach them Sunny Day. If the sun is active, Thunder and Hurricane become even less accurate, dropping from 70% to 50%. So Sunny Day has terrible synergy with these attacks.
Because, you know, an entire hurricane is definitely something you can just not aim correctly. Over 700 Pokemon can learn Sunny Day, and Thunder is a coverage move in many Pokemon's learn sets, so there are a ton of Pokemon that can use them both, like Gengar, the Lottie twins, and Magnezone. Sunny Day and Hurricane is also a reasonably common pairing, although it's mostly flying types that can learn these two. In any case, those are two more combinations you should stay away from. They're all fine moves individually, but they don't work well together. How big is the eye of this storm anyway?
Tremendously large.
You're tremendously large.
I wish I was. Held items aren't necessary during playthroughs by any means, but they're a staple of competitive play. There are many moves that manipulate items in some way, but some of them don't go well together. Knock Off is one of the best attacks in the game. It's a 65 power dark type move, which is pretty underwhelming in a vacuum, but Knock Off removes the target's held item if they have one, and its power is boosted by 50% in that case.
Knock Off is a staple of many Pokemon's movesets, but it doesn't synergize well with Poltergeist. That's a physical ghost type move, which deals damage by hitting the target with its own item. But if they're not holding anything, Poltergeist fails entirely. So if you get rid of a Pokemon's item with Knock Off, not only do you power down any subsequent uses of that move, but you also deactivate Poltergeist entirely on that target. I'm sorry, what was happening when I wrote the script? Like, I'm reading it now and I'm seeing like a billion typos.
You know what Ernest Hemingway said about writing? Write drunk, edit sober.
You see, here's the issue. I wasn't drunk.
Are you sure about that? A handful of Pokemon can learn both of these moves, like Trevenant and Golurk. Poltergeist is their best stab option, so it's usually best to choose that move and miss out on Knock Off. Even if Knock Off and Poltergeist mechanics didn't clash like that, they still wouldn't be a very good pair of moves to run together.
Ghost and Dark have very similar offensive properties. In fact, they hit the exact same types for super effective damage, Ghost and Psychic. On top of that, Dark types resist them both. If you're using a Ghost type that knows Poltergeist, a Dark move just gives you a way to hit normal types. But moves that are neutral against normal types are a dime a dozen, so Knock Off's a bad move to pair with Poltergeist through and through.
The next pair is just kinda funny. Smackdown is a 50 base power rock type move, but it also grounds any target it hits. That includes flying types, levitate users, and Pokemon affected by telekinesis or magnet rise. Telekinesis lifts the target into the air, which is the opposite of Smackdown's secondary effect.
A handful of Pokemon can learn Telekinesis and Smackdown, like Claydol, Deancey, and Probopass. So if you're feeling a little silly, you can use this move to pick your opponents up and put them back down. It's like weightlifting, but you get no gains whatsoever. Fun. But if you're actually trying to win a battle, this nonsense has very little synergy.
I'm eating spicy soup noodles right now, so that's why I'm coughing.
Hello, Elias, you want some milk?
I'm not sure that will help, but I mean, yeah.
For that matter, Telekinesis also pairs atrociously with ground-type attacks. If you lift the target up, they become immune to Earthquake and friends. Many Telekinesis users can learn some kind of ground-type move, so that's another combination you should avoid. Hello, Elias, would you like to take part in some weightlifting but get no gains whatsoever?
No, thank you. That sounds like a waste of time. I like the numbers on the circles that I put on my bars to go up.
True.
Speaking of picking things up and putting them back down, gravity is a move that triggers an unusual field effect. During intense gravity, the accuracy of moves is boosted by 67%, and every Pokemon on the field is grounded. While this effect is active, a few moves are disabled entirely. If you know a move like Fly, Bounce, Skydrop, or Magnet Rise, you're not allowed to select them. So if your Pokemon knows gravity, you'd be sabotaging yourself by choosing one of those other moves.
Fun fact, during intense gravity, I can deadlift 0 pounds.
During intense gravity, I can't stand.
Metachamp should avoid pairing gravity with high jump kick for the same reason. The intense gravity disables this move, and the same thing happens with its cousin jump kick. It'll also block it from using telekinesis, bounce, and flying press. But it's worth noting that the latter is Hawlucha's signature move, and it can't learn gravity.
There's no real reason to use this next move on account of it being completely atrocious. But to cover all our bases, the last move that gravity disables is Splash, a move that's infamous for doing nothing. So if you activate intense gravity, the game won't even let you do nothing. You'll be forced to pick another move until the field returns to normal. The only Pokemon that can learn gravity and Splash are Cleffa, Clefairy, and Clefable. But don't teach your Clefable Splash. I just finished my ramen. Do you mind if I go take an antacid really quickly?
Yeah, do that. I don't need you dying on me.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right back.
Yep. Here's another move that doesn't work well with certain weather conditions. Solar Beam is a 120 power grass type move, but it takes 2 turns for the attack to finish. Fortunately, you can use harsh sunlight to speed things up. If the sun is active, Solar Beam only takes 1 turn, but as you might expect, it's a different story if you're using another weather.
Starting in Gen 2, Solar Beam's power is halved to 60 if it's raining. That effective power is the same as Magical Leaf, which isn't exactly the highest bar in the universe. Despite that, many Pokemon can learn Solar Beam and Rain Dance. That includes the usual suspects like Ludicolo, Ogerpon, and Mew, but there are well over 100 other examples.
But wait, we're not done. Starting in Gen 3, Solar Beam also gets weaker during Sand and Hail. Those combinations aren't as common as Solar Beam and Rain Dance, but there are still quite a few. Charizard, Ferrothorn, and Aggron can learn Solar Beam and Sandstorm, and Blissey, Abomasnow, and Cryogonal can learn Solar Beam and Hail. There's an Oxford comma missing in that sentence. Good gravy, what was I doing when I wrote this?
Do you see this? What is Mr. Rhyme?
Mr. Rhyme is Galarian Mr. Mime's evolution. That is not a typo.
What the hell?
Starting in Gen 9, all of these Pokemon learn Snowscape instead, but Solar Beam is also 60 power in the snow.
Mr. Rhyme?
Yeah, look it up.
Ew! Solar Blade is a physical version of Solar Beam. It has most of the same properties, but Solar Blade is slightly stronger, and it's not as widely distributed. Everything else we've said about Solar Beam also applies to Solar Blade. Sunny Day is the only weather move that you should teach alongside these solar attacks. Psychic Terrain has a bunch of useful effects. It powers up Psychic-type moves, it activates the Psychic Seed, and it turns Expanding Force into a spread move. That's all fun and cool, but most importantly for today, it makes Pokemon immune to priority attacks. As an example, if a Metacham used Psychic Terrain, that would prevent its own Bullet Punch from working, unless the target is ungrounded.
Many Psychic types can learn some form of priority, which you should avoid if you're using them as terrain setters. Here are a few more rapid-fire examples. Espathra can learn Quick Attack, Indeedee can learn Fake Out, Mr. Rhyme can learn Ice Shard, Elias didn't know what Mr. Rhyme was before this video, and Bruxish and Veluza can learn Aqua Jet. There are a bunch more examples, but you get the picture. Teaching your Pokemon to move, alongside a method to block said move, isn't the greatest idea.
Some Pokemon can learn 2 redundant moves. Leer and Tail Whip both lower the target's defense by 1 stage, and they're spread moves starting in Gen 3. Even though these moves are exactly the same, your rival's Rhydon knows them both in red and blue. During the rival Sixel battle right before Victory Road, the rival debuts his Rhyhorn, which knows Tail Whip, Stomp, Fury Attack, and Horn Drill.
You are so predictable. You don't even watch J-Rose 11, I've gotta point out. You just think that Rival Fivel is so funny.
Honestly, like the best thing I've ever heard.
Right, where were we? In the champion battle, Rhyhorn is evolved into Rhydon, and Stomp was replaced with Leer. That's because most trainer Pokemon in this game don't have customized movesets. They just know the 4 most recent level up moves in their learn set. Our guy learns Leer at level 55, and Rival 7's Rhydon is level 61. Quite a few other Pokemon get both moves by level up too.
In fact, let's take a look at Tauros. In Gen 1, you can catch it as early as level 21. It'll learn Tail Whip at level 28, then Leer at level 35. You know, just in case you skip the defense debuff the first time, I guess. You don't get a new attacking move until level 44 when it learns Rage, which is one of the worst moves in the game. We've only done 50 videos together? Well, in that case, I quit.
What do you mean? The next time you get an attack that isn't complete garbage is level 51. Tauros learns Takedown, which isn't a very good move either. This guy's a fantastic Pokemon in competitive Gen 1, but his level up set is absolutely miserable. It pretty much only uses TM moves and OU. That's the only way for it to learn stab moves that are actually good, like Body Slam and pre-nerf Hyper Beam.
Leer and Tail Whip appear together in several level up sets. Most of the Pokemon with this property are from Gens 1 and 2, like Cubone, Snubbull, and Flareon. But Morpeko was added in Gen 8, and it learns Tail Whip at level 1, followed by Leer at level 5. If your Pokemon knows one of these moves, you should skip the other one.
That's not the only example out there either. Trick and Switcheroo make the user and target swap items, and Obstagoon learns them both. It gets Switcheroo by level up, and it can learn Trick via TR. Several other Pokemon can learn both moves as well. In Gens 5 through 7, Magnezone could learn Barrier by level up, and Iron Defense via Move Tutor. A bunch of other Pokemon have ways to learn both moves as well, like Clamperl, Aurorus, and Cloyster. Yeah, so I was thinking about buying, like, a bunch of Rubik's Cubes and making shorts of me making, mosaics of Pokemon, but then I realized how many I would need. Hello, Elias, can I borrow $600?
No.
That is the correct answer.
In Gen 5, there is an event Eevee that knows Sing. That's a 55% accurate move that puts the target to sleep. If you had one of those Eevee and evolved it into Leafeon, you could teach it Grass Whistle, which works almost exactly the same way in battle. The only difference is that Grass Whistle is blocked by Sap Sipper. Teaching your Pokemon 2 moves that work the same is a terrible idea. Sure, that'll give you more power points to work with, but you can only learn 4 moves at a time. Taking up half of your move slots with clones isn't worth it, because that'll severely restrict the rest of your moveset.
That's especially the case with early game moves. Scratch and Pound are identical attacks, and Tackle is also the same starting in Gen 7. They're all 40 base power normal type moves with 100 accuracy and 35 power points. Many Pokemon start with exactly one of these moves, but there are a handful that learn 2. Sunflora can learn Pound and Tackle, and Salazzle can learn Pound and Scratch.
What's weirder though is that their pre-evolutions don't have this property. Salandit and Sunkern can't learn Pound. That makes it a completely useless move for their evolved forms. Not only do they already have a move that's exactly the same, but they're also just not good moves in the first place. They're completely outclassed by universal moves like Facade. You shouldn't be teaching your Salazzle Pound, but you especially shouldn't teach it that move if it already knows Scratch.
This next pair of moves is tied to the same mechanic, but in completely opposite ways. Return and Frustration were both universal TMs, and their power is tied to the user's friendship value. At max friendship, Return's power is 102 and Frustration's is 1. Then the reverse is true at 0 friendship. Teaching your Pokemon both moves is a complete waste of time. If you max out one move, the other will be unusably weak.
They're also both normal type moves with no secondary effect. If you're gonna run 2 attacks of the same type, you should have a good reason for it. Return and Frustration don't provide a good reason, so teaching your Pokemon both moves basically makes one of their 4 slots obsolete. In the context of a playthrough, you should just use Return, because of how easy it is to raise your Pokemon's friendship. I don't know how to read English.
Alright, we can do this in Chinese if you want. Unfortunately, I will not be reading the lines in that case.
Ugh, these noodles are a little spicier than I thought they would be, and they're kind of kicking my ass, I'm not gonna lie. It's a good thing I bought a box of 40 of them.
Oh no, Elias. Okay, good.
Speaking of
no.
King of the Hill,
what's up?
I watched the, you just launched Balatro? Wow.
Oh no, that was an accident.
He's addicted, he can't stop.
I literally just closed it, my guy. Well, that's all we got for today. Leave a comment about Cricketune. Be sure to subscribe to MEPlaysGames if you're enjoying yourself, and consider becoming a channel member to support the show. And as always, shoutouts to our existing members. We'll see you all next time. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.